So as we are stepping into our first time in a See You at Home for our year together, I hope you're in a See You at Home with some other brothers and sisters. And if you're not, please let us know. Please reach out to pastor@christislove.org. Let me help you get connected with some other brothers and sisters. You are going to love it. But I've got a question for you. Whether you're with your See You at Home right now or you're alone, it doesn't matter. The question is the same. Do you want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ? Do you want to be His disciple? And I know what's rising up in you right now is, yes, absolutely, I want to be His disciple, because we as a church made a decision a couple of years back of shifting away from giving the idea that going to church or being a part of, the church or even believing that Jesus is the Son of the living God, that we needed to help people move past those ideas of what it means to be a Christian and to understand that what it means to be a Christian is to be a follower of Christ, a disciple of Jesus Christ. And so if you're still associated with Christ United, you're probably at that place where you've got that and you're saying, yes, I want to be a disciple, a follower of Jesus Christ. And if that's you, today we're going to give you a chance to solidify that decision and that commitment to be a disciple, and also to make some core decisions about how to actually live that out and how we can help you live that out as a disciple. We can help make disciples, if that makes sense, help you to become a fully formed disciple of Christ and help you to help others to do that. But it's all got to start with that question: do you want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ? Because before you answer that, we want you to hear what Jesus said about anyone who desires to be or wants to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And so here's what He said in Luke chapter 9, verses 23 through 25. And you're going to be reading that for yourself later, but Jesus said, if anyone wants to be my disciple, or anyone who wants to be my disciple, must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me. Now I want you to think about that. If that's the criteria for being His disciple, do you really want to be His disciple? Must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow Him. Early in my Christian experience, going to church and going to Sunday school and other things, I remember having read that passage and had it explained away, had ways that I could try to rationalize past it, or just didn't even want to think about it, because the idea, deny myself, take up my cross daily, and follow Him, had zero appeal for me. And so I still wanted to believe in Jesus. I still wanted to believe I was going to heaven. But the idea of that, denying myself, taking up my cross daily, and following Him, was something that was completely outside of the true desire of my heart. Now, how about for you? Are you in a place where it's like, well, I desire to go to heaven, I desire to believe in God, I want to trust Him, pray to Him, that kind of thing, but to be His disciple, to deny myself, take up my cross daily, and follow Him, I'm not sure that I really can honestly say I want that. Because self-denial, it's like the opposite of everything that in our humanity, in our flesh, our human desires are well expressed in humanistic psychology. If you read Abraham Maslow, or you read Carl Rogers, you read any of these, the humanistic psychologists who study human beings and how human beings are wired, basically they say human beings are wired toward, first I got to get my food and my shelter, and then I got to get my safety, and after I get my safety, then I've got to get some socialization, some love or relationship or belonging, and then I can move up from there, and I can move up to the place where I start getting some of my ego needs met, where I feel kind of honored. Then after that, I can get to self-actualization, where I actually become all my potentials, right? I fulfill the potential that I have as a human being. Self-actualization is what human beings long for and strive for and go for. And to hear Jesus say the opposite of self-actualization, He says, deny yourself. Don't actualize yourself, but deny yourself. That is so contrary to how we as human beings are wired. Now, beyond that, he says not just deny yourself. So rather than self-actualization, where I realize my own potentials, I do what it is that I believe that I need to do to fulfill all that I'm capable of doing. A lot of I's in there, right? That self-actualization, instead to deny myself and to say no, instead of actualizing myself, I'm going to deny myself, to take up my cross. Now, I want you to think about to take up your cross. Jesus had just said that, look, he had just been identified by Peter as the Messiah, and he said, well, here's what's got to happen to me. I'm going to suffer many things. I'm going to be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and I'm going to be put to death, and then I'm going to be raised to life on the third day. I mean, it was so profoundly contrary to what they were thinking that it didn't even register for the disciples yet, that Jesus was saying, I'm going to die. And Jesus knew he was going to a cross, and he was saying, if you're going to be my disciple, you're going to take up your cross. Now, take up your cross. In other words, you aren't looking for, if you're going to follow me, you're not looking for fanfare and looking for all kinds of accolades, and you're not looking for all the comforts and the pleasures, not even your safety needs, right? All those things that are human desires and needs, you're going to put all those aside for one thing, and that is the purposes of God. You're going to take up your cross, and you're going to do it daily. It's going to be the defining characteristic of every day of your life. This isn't going to be something you do on a Sunday morning one Sunday and then you forget about it. This is going to be your everyday life for the rest of your life. So are you in a place where you would deny yourself, take up your cross daily? Say, daily, all these human needs that I have am so oriented toward, right? My own safety, my own sense of belonging, my own sense of accomplishment, my own ego, all that stuff, and my self-actualization. I'm gonna deny all that. I'm gonna take up my cross and look past my own safety and my own needs to only one thing, and that is to God's purpose and His glory. I'm gonna take up my cross daily. That's gonna be my everyday life for the rest of my life. Guys, that was, I can remember as a young man facing that thought and feeling like, honestly, I don't know that I can say I want to be His disciple. And then He said, take up your cross daily and follow me. Now, later, it's very soon after that Jesus would have somebody come in and saying, I'll follow you wherever you go. And Jesus responded by saying, foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay His head. He's saying, do you realize what it really means to follow me? Do you realize if they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you too? Do you realize that following me means doing what I'm doing? I mean, I'm orienting my whole life around sharing the love of God with the world, and I'm orienting my whole life toward sacrifice and service to others. I'm orienting everything around glory to the Father and not for myself. Do you really want to follow me? Because following me would be doing what I'm doing and going where I'm going. And man, so for me, that was a big, wait a minute, I'm not sure I want to be His disciple. Now, what happens next as Jesus is saying this is He begins to say the why. Now watch this. He says, for whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it. What good is it for a person to gain the whole world, or someone to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit their very self? He's saying whoever wants to save their life is going to lose it. In other words, when I go after my self-actualization, I want to fulfill my potentials. I want to be all I want to be. When I go after my own ego needs and my own desires for what I want in my life, guess what I miss? I miss the very reason for which I was created. I was created for the relationship with the God who created me, for His glory, for His purposes, and in Him I find life to the full. I find actualization. It's not self-actualization, it's Christ-actualization. I actualize everything I was created to be only when I am in Him. And when I try to actualize myself and my own potentials and my own ideas, here's what He's saying. No matter how high you climb on that ladder for your own self-actualization, you will end up in emptiness because you will have forfeited your very self. the very person you were created to be, the very purposes for which you exist, not just for this life, but for all eternity. So what good is it to gain the whole world? That's the point, guys. I remember when I was wrestling with all my goals of being a real estate tycoon and all the things that I had in mind for myself. And thinking about, what if you mean I can't pursue all that? And God was saying, look, if you pursue all that, you'll get to the end of your life and look back and realize that you have missed it all. You were created for relationship with me and relationship with others. You were created for my glory and my purposes. And when you live in those purposes, that's when your life is actualized. That's when your potential is fulfilled. And you can own the whole world and miss it and forfeit the very reason why you exist. And everything that actually has meaning, you'll forfeit it all if you go after yourself. Wow. Wow, to come to that realization that whoever wants to save their life will actually lose it. But whoever loses their life for me, Jesus said, will save it or will find it. In other words, he's saying, look, if you deny yourself and your own self-actualization and your own desires and human fleshly, I've got to have, the pride of life, right? That whole of boasting about what I have and what I do. If you deny all that mess and you get focused on the one who created you, then you are actually going to find life. And so very short time after that, it seems that Peter will have been watching Jesus speaking to this young man. And he says to the young man who asked what he must do to inherit eternal life. And Jesus said, hey, keep the commands. And the guy says, I've done this since I was a child. He said, oh, great. Jesus loves the guy. He said, now you lack one thing. Go sell all your possessions, give them to the poor, and come and follow me. Deny yourself. Take up your cross daily. Follow me. You know what I'm saying? Like, be my disciple. Really follow me. Come on. All in. Be a part of this. And it says the man went away sad because he had great wealth. And Jesus said how hard it is for the rich to enter the kingdom of heaven, for those who have so much, because they're going to be so focused on, so fearful of losing their life, their self-actualization. And he says, oh man, if they would just trust me and they would just completely deny all that and come to me, then I could give them life. And so Peter says, we've left everything to follow you. And Jesus said, I tell you the truth, no one who has left home or brother or sister or mother or father or children or me, for me and the gospel, will fail to receive 100 times as much in this present life. Homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, fields, and with them persecutions. And he said, and in the age to come, eternal life. He's saying, Peter, you have denied yourself. You've taken up your cross to follow me. And I want to tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get 100 times more than you would have gotten had you held on to that grimy life of your own self-actualization, of your I want to get my needs met first, and then I want to be all I can be, and I'm going to be my own God and be in control of my own life. And yes, I'll ask the God of the universe to help me, but I'm going to be my own man. Oh, he would have missed it all. But Jesus said, look, Peter, you've left everything to follow me. You've decided to be my disciple. And I tell you what, you're going to have life. I'm talking about Jesus said, I came that they may have life and have it to the full. I'm talking about, yes, with persecutions, with struggles, and with suffering, and with all the stuff that real life contains. You are going to fulfill the purpose for which you were created, the glory of the God who created you, and real relationships, and real love, and all that really matters. You'll have it if you'll be my disciple. You come follow me, and I'll lead you into life. 100 times more than what you'll give up. So, maybe by now you're where I was. I do want to be his disciple. I do. I mean, I really do. Enough to deny myself and take up my cross daily and follow him, because it's in him and in following him that I'm going to find life, and I'm going to find purpose. I'm going to find everything I was created to be. I'm going to be actualized. I'm not going to be self-actualized. I'm going to be Christ-actualized. I'm going to be actualized by the one who created me. My potential will be realized only in the one who created that potential. And there I'll find life. Man, that's what it means to be his disciple. So, do you want to be his disciple? And you know that that's more than just a decision that you make one day and you look back on. I remember the day when I did that, and then I went on being in my control of my own life, taking care of my own needs, No, it's every day. Every day. And so how can we help you in that? If you know that you have surrendered and submitted all to Him and said, yes, I'm going to deny myself, take up my cross daily and follow you. If you're saying to Him, I'm going to lay down my life, I'm going to ask you to raise me from the dead and give me new life, and this new life is yours, and I'm going to follow you all of my days, and I am yours. You're in me, I'm in you. It's about you, for your glory, your purposes. I want to be fulfilled in you. I want to be actualized. All the potential you created, whatever you want, that's what I want. When you're at that place in your life, then it's a daily living that out. Denying yourself, taking up your cross daily means, hey, I'm going to follow Jesus into this day. I'm not going to get caught back up in all the stuff that I would have been caught in if I was still following my flesh and my old life, but I'm His, and every day I'm going to be doing that. That's why our daily prayer calls, that's why we do them. It's not the only way to do that, but it is such a profoundly powerful and impactful way that one of the ways we can help you. Now, there are lots of other wonderful ministries and lots of other wonderful people who can help you, so this is not the only way. But let me tell you how we at Christ United help you do that. It's every day, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You go to christislove.org, you go on the website, you look at daily Bible study and prayer or daily connection or whatever it says, and you go there and it'll show you how to connect every single day with people who will help you on a daily basis. Say, this day I'm submitted to Him. This day I deny myself. I take up my cross and I follow Him. I say, God, I want your will today. And even if it's uncomfortable, even if it means suffering, even if it meant death, I just want your will for my life. I want to walk into the purposes you have for me. Well, that's what we seek every single day to do. And so if you want that life and you want us somehow to help you, then the way, again, we do it, it's not the only way, but the way that we do that is daily. We have daily prayer calls. We're in His Word. We're praying over each other and praying you into that daily submission and surrender. And then He says, take up your cross daily and follow me. Do the things I've done. Those who followed Jesus did what He did. They saw Him and they emulated Him and they carried on. In fact, as the Father sent Him, He turned around and sent them. That's what He's saying to you. If you want to be my disciple, you're going to follow me, as in do what I have been doing. And you're going to be following my example, and you're going to be following the priorities I have in my life. You're going to be walking in relationship with me. That is going to be life. And so here, listen, if you want to do that, if you've ever heard us talk about Discipleship Live, again, there are 1,000 different ways that this could be done, and many, many other ministries and people who can help you in other ways. But we have one thing that we do that we say, if you will just come on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock and be with us, we're going to help you learn to take what Jesus has taught us about how to walk out life as a disciple, as a follower of Jesus, and we're going to help equip you and train you to do that. Now see, when Jesus talked about making disciples, He said, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. What Jesus had done with His disciples was He set an example for them and He trained them to actually follow the Father's will. And that's what He wants us to do. So it's more than just teaching a class and you learn things. It's you actually are equipped to put into practice what God has called us to do. That's what we do in Discipleship Live. And so again, if Christ United isn't right for you, find a ministry that's going to find the way of helping you to be a follower of Christ, to follow His example, to do what He did, to live out this life and fulfill the purpose for which you were created. We do it through Discipleship Live. And so, since that's the way that we do it, if you're a part of Christ United, be on Discipleship Live. Because again, there are 1,000 ways that can be done. But for us, the way we do it is we seek to train and equip you to follow Jesus through that Discipleship Live. And guys, as we follow Him, His disciples followed Him together, and He would say to them that their relationships and their unity and all that was about them following Him was following Him in relationship with each other. And again, there are 1,000 ways that can be done, but for us, we do that in our See You at Home communities. We do that by bringing people together in love relationships where they're encouraging each other and spurring each other on. And so again, there are lots of churches who do it in lots of different ways and wonderful ways that could be done. But at Christ United, we do that through our See You at Home communities. And so if you're going to follow Him, then get in a See You at Home community and be surrounded by people who are going to love you and strengthen you. So every day, connect with us through our daily prayer calls. Be trained and equipped to follow Jesus, to follow His example through our discipleship life. Get in a See You at Home community and be in the body the way Jesus intended us to be in His body. And we will be His disciples. We will follow Him into the life that He intended for us. And so as you go together as a See You at Home community, and if you're alone right now, reach out to another follower of Christ. If you're with a family, do it with your family. But right now, we're going to go into a Discovery Bible study of that passage, Luke chapter 9, verses 23 through 25. And answer the question for yourself, do I really want to be His disciple? And if I do, how am I going to let this body or some other body of believers help me live out what it means to truly follow Jesus? God bless you as you go into your discussion.